A pleasant day to you, my supervisors. I'm going to be doing a video presentation on my industrial attachment. So my name is Mchayangi Shanesu Trevor, and I was attached at the Association of Rural District Councils of Zimbabwe for a period of 8 months. I got so much exposure when I was at this company, with special thanks to my supervisor, Engineer Stablek Savere, who allowed me to get so much exposure in all the different aspects of civil and water engineering. Why the ARDCZ? The ARDCZ is a body that is handling various engineering projects in mostly peri-urban setups, partnering with various stakeholders in government. So this organization is working closely with member councils, and it is offering a number of infrastructure development projects such as road construction, residential stand survey and development, dam construction, housing, and other civil engineering related projects. I got so much exposure in a number of different projects. First of all, I'll look at the residential projects that we were handling as an organization. For example, number one, which was in Unguza RDC, whereby we were looking at, I got there at a later stage where they were already at scaffolding and shuttering. As you can see on the pictures there, the columns had already been casted, and they were at the stage of shuttering and putting beams so that they could cast them. We're also in Muzarabani RDC, whereby we're looking at the ground beams that were setting out there. We were in Shirezi RDC. There is a picture of a base and stub column, which I also assisted in design. We used Y12 bars for the base and Y12s for the starters and Y8s for the links. The rest of the pictures are self-explanatory. We're in Goromonzi RDC, Shirezi RDC as well, and most of them were deck inspection and casting site inspections. We were partnering with the various stakeholders, which include number one, Zinwa and Lupani District Council, whereby we were looking at Gwai Shangani Dam project. The most important aspect that I got to grasp was the reinforcement for the retaining wall, as you can see on the picture there, when they were reinforcing a retaining wall to improve the soil structure or the soil bearing capacity that was going to hold the retaining wall for the dam itself. We also looked at, we also worked with St. Luke Hospital, whereby they were creating a 250 cubic meter concrete reservoir tank. So this tank, we assisted in the general design, the sections and the bar bending schedule. So it was a good experience for me to actually get exposed to how we create a bar bending schedule and the layout and the drawings for a tank. We also partnered with Zinwa, Lupani District Office in Kai RDC, whereby they are in the process of designing a water treatment plant. So this is still at design stage, and as you can see on picture there, we have a proposed water treatment plant conceptual design model that we proposed for them to implement. We also partner with Chaminuka Rural District Council, whereby they are doing a land development scheme for local housing projects. So at the moment, they are in the process of constructing access roads for residential suburb in Chaminuka RDC. The land clearance has already been done, and they seem to be on track with the project at the moment. We were asked to draft a plan for a construction of a school block that was destroyed by Cyclone Idai. So this is under the Cyclone Idai rehabilitation program in Chimanimani RDC. So those on pictures are some of the drawings that we did, and on the left is the block that has already been roofed with IBR sheets. The professional workshops and conferences attended. So the ARDZ is a body that also hosts workshops and conferences. So we attended a Mashonaland East Provincial Chapter Engineers Workshop, which I also assisted in taking minutes during the proceedings. We also held a Masvingo Provincial Chapter Engineers Forum National Executive Meeting, but this was conducted on Zoom due to COVID-19 restrictions. The skills that I obtained quite a number of skills. Also on screen at the moment, that is the building cost estimation, a bill of quantities. So I got to understand how we can create a list of all the materials that are needed for construction of a certain block or a certain residential unit. So that on screen is showing a sample of a bill of quantities that we got to get much exposure to and design. I also learned how to use the AutoCAD software for plan drafting and detailing. So as you can see on screen, on the right there, you have your our AutoCAD, whereby we were designing a 3D model in AutoCAD, and on the left is the 2D model of the very same plan. We also use the AutoCAD software for detailing structural elements. For example, a slab. As you can see on the right there, there is a slab that has been detailed in AutoCAD, that has been fully detailed in AutoCAD. And on the left is an arrangement that is showing where you have your beams, your columns, and the mesh wire for a certain residential project. I also got to understand how to compute a bar bending schedule for reinforced concrete elements, for example, columns, beams, and decks. So that is the template that we're more of using when we're designing our bar bending schedules. So that one was for a first floor slab or a first floor deck. And that is just a schematic that is showing the how the bending schedule was being computed. We also learned so much how to design structural elements using Procon software. So that is Procon software, as on the diagrams there, it is showing when we're designing a beam. That is showing your deflections for the long term and the short term periods. So we also got much exposure as far as Procon design software is concerned. On the screen there, we got to learn what are called photorealistic models, which we're designing using different design software like 3ds Max, AutoCAD, and Lumion. So those ones are not really residential units. Those are actually drawings that we were making through use of different software. The problems that we encountered during the attachment period were mostly rooted to one major source, which is the COVID-19 pandemic. So from the COVID-19 pandemic, we did not really get so much time or so many site visits because of the travel restrictions that were given by government. And we also got limited exposure by virtue of us having limited number of site visits. We also held a fewer conferences for networking with other prominent engineers. So most of the problems that I faced during my attachment period were mostly rooted to the COVID-19 pandemic. In conclusion, I would like to thank God for the students' attachment year, for it was a success, and my appreciation also goes to all the staff at the IRDCZ for the learning experience that I gained. I became pro-efficient in the use of software and gained vast experience when it comes to site inspections and working under pressure. I now have an appreciation of what civil and water engineering is all about. Um, in recommendation, I would recommend the National University of Science and Technology to allow more industrial site visits during the first 3 years of the learning experience so that students are familiar with the work environment prior attachment. And to the Association of the Rural District Councils of Zimbabwe, I think there is need to formulate a technical department within the organization so as to deliver to its member councils. I thank you so much.